we're going to take a look at an MRE from XMRE. This one is from 2016. I've recently reviewed one of these from 2015 and a few from 2018. So a 2016 one almost seems like something that wouldn't really be worth reviewing. But for a number of reasons, I'm thinking that this one might be very interesting, and I did want to go ahead and do a review of it. As I said, it's from 2016. It does have a date code on it of 6256, meaning that it was packaged on the 256th day of 2016, or September 12th, 2016. It's menu number 1. On the back it says 1A, chicken breast fillet. In 2016, they still had the menu number on the outer bag. Nowadays, or at least as of 2018, they had a bag that looks very similar to this, but it's a generic one that doesn't have a menu number on the front. And all the information is on the sticker on the back. So we can actually see all the components that are in here. Of course, it's more fun to open it up and check everything out. But as I said, the entree is chicken breast fillet. That's the first thing that I find very interesting about this, because chicken breast fillet was a long-time entree in genuine US MREs. The chicken breast was actually around from 1995, which was the last year of the brown bags, right up through 2009, which means this 2016 one is about 7 years after they were discontinued from the genuine ones. So I think it's kind of interesting that they're still producing it, even though it wasn't in use in genuine MREs. The other interesting thing is that this is the 1300 XT line, meaning that it has an average of 1300 calories. The chicken breast fillet is actually a pretty small entree, probably about 3.5 ounces. We'll see when we get into it. Basically about the same size as some of the other small entrees like the barbecue pork rib, the beef patty, and the sausage patty. And because it was so small and had few calories, the genuine ones always came with a true side. This one is using wheat snack bread as basically a side dish. But the genuine MREs always had a full-sized 5-ounce side. In 1995, it was potatoes au gratin. 96 through 99, it was Mexican rice. 2000 to 2004, it was minestrone stew. In 2005, it was Mexican macaroni and cheese. And the last 3 years, 2007 to 2009, it was cornbread stuffing. And in addition to a true side, the genuine ones would also have, in addition to a dessert, they'd also have a candy item, which a lot of times was something like M&Ms or Reese's Pieces. The fact that this has a few less components, it's still a pretty good full-sized MRE, but it seems a little bit more in line size-wise with the TOTM than a genuine MRE. TOTMs, of course, have less components and less calories, because they're designed for people who are in like a classroom environment rather than out in the field. But as I said, it is a 1300 XT, and we can see, by looking at the nutrition facts on the back, if we add up the calories for all the components, this 1300 XT actually has 1430 calories. I have previously reviewed a couple of genuine chicken breast MREs. In fact, my very first MRE review in 2011 was a 2003 chicken breast that had minestrone stew as a side. And then 2012 I did another one, I believe it was from 2007, and it had the cornbread stuffing as a side. So, as I said, the chicken breast fillet is a small entree, and when it was discontinued after 2009, it was replaced in 2010 by Mediterranean chicken, or chicken with feta and tomatoes. And that basically had the chicken breast in it, but it was also with a bunch of sauce that brought it up to a full 8-ounce entree. And now after that lengthy introduction, it's time to go inside of this one and see what actually is in here. And this is actually going to be a pretty good test of the peelable seal, because I actually have a cut on my finger. It's going to make it a little bit more difficult to open one of these up. It was a little bit of a challenge, but it seemed to work okay. I think I see something interesting here that is kind of funny. I don't know if it was a mistake or what, but it kind of helps explain why this looks like a pretty full-size MRE despite the small size of the entree. And let's find the entree. Oh, I see. This isn't chicken breast. This is actually the chicken with garlic and herb sauce. I've actually never had this one before. Alright, so this actually changes everything. You can pretty much disregard everything I said about the chicken breast because, as I said, it was discontinued in 2009, and apparently that's not what this is. This is the chicken with garlic and herb sauce. And this was actually, has a date code on it, is produced on the 51st day of 2014. Date code of 4051. So this one was a couple of years old when it was packed in this MRE. But it is, I believe it is chicken breast, but it's chunks of chicken breast, and it's in a sauce, and I believe it's going to be 8 ounces. No, I'm sorry, this is only 4 ounces. So it is still a small entree. It's in a regular size pouch, but it's only 4 ounces. But this is actually not only something I've never had, I believe it's somewhat on the rare side. It was never an official MRE menu in the genuine MREs, and what it was basically an alternate, kind of like the fact that they call it 1A. It was kind of like a 21A, because the lemon pepper tuna, which was number 21, was sometimes replaced with the chicken with garlic and herb sauce, I guess if there was a shortage of tuna or something. So this is actually going to be pretty cool to try out. I thought it was just going to be sort of a boring, small chicken breast, but instead it's something I've never had before. And we also have lemon lime beverage base powder, wheat snack bread. I guess you should be looking at some of the date codes on these, 5076. Chunky peanut butter, it's a nice alternative to just plain peanut butter. And the dessert is the trans-fat-free fudge brownie. And that was from 2014, 181st day, with a 2-year-old component. And we have the XMRE snack. This is their own branded item, and this is at the point where they did have the tear notches. The early ones they had actually didn't have tear notches, and you had to use a knife or something to open it up. This is the nut raisin mix, and this is kind of what saves it from being like a TOTM. Because while the entree itself only has 150 calories, the fudge brownie has 370 calories, and the nut raisin mix has 350. So that's how you get this relatively small MRE to be 1,430 calories. And then we have the accessory pack with this really long bag for some reason. And this has the standard XMRE fare of a genuine brown MRE spoon, a moist towelette, deep and rich coffee, sugar, coffee mate creamer, salt and pepper, and a little napkin. And then the last thing in here, there actually is no, I'm surprised there's no hot beverage bag. One of the things I do like about the XMREs is that they usually do come with a hot beverage bag, and this one says that it does, but there isn't one in here. But what it does have, instead of a flameless ration heater, it has a bunch of flameless ration heaters. This actually has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 flameless ration heaters. So that's going to help you if you get a dud. And these are different too. These appear to be closer to the ones that they're using now, the XOS ones. It seems a little bit different than the ones I've done from 2018, but it's also definitely not the standard flameless ration heaters you find in genuine MREs. And it's interesting because it actually has a little piece of tape on it to seal it up, which I didn't see on the 2018 ones. But hopefully, even though these are about 3 years old, they're going to be really powerful, in which case it'll be nice to have 4 extra ones. Alright, and here's everything that we're getting in this MRE. As I said, this was kind of a surprise. I was expecting a small entree of chicken breast, and instead we ended up getting the relatively rare chicken with garlic and herb sauce. And they do actually call it chicken breast fillet, seasoned garlic and herb seasoning. So I guess they are calling it chicken breast fillet, but it was a little bit confusing to me because I was expecting the old one, and not this kind of mysterious rare one. But overall, it's looking like a pretty good meal. You're definitely going to get your calories out of this with over 1,400, and obviously you wouldn't normally be getting 5 flameless ration heaters in an MRE, but that's what came with this one, so it's pretty interesting. I have a feeling, I know I've done some of the 2016 ones in the past, and I have a feeling that maybe they were just starting to introduce these, and possibly earlier in the year they had the regular standard ones, and then when they introduced these, obviously it was a new process, and maybe they just for some reason had a hard time whether they would put in manually or by machine, putting in just one, and either they were afraid they weren't going to work so they put extra ones in, or it was just an oversight, which is probably most likely. But either way, we're going to try out one of these, and we're going to heat up the entree and check everything else out. Alright, and just to take a quick look at the flameless meal heater. It's definitely run on the same principle as the genuine US MREs. I think this actually seems like it's even standard Luxfer Magtech incorporated heating elements. It has the familiar do not eat guy on there. But the only real difference, it says after you add the water, it says fold top of heater bag to indicated fold line, peel back seal tab and secure folded bag with the resealable tab. So this, in addition to having a fill line, it also has a fold line. And apparently you're supposed to, if you rip the top off and put everything in, you're supposed to fold it down to about here and use this to actually seal it up. Just kind of it's interesting. It does say it's from XOS. but it's TrueTech, heated by TrueTech self-heating technology. So I believe it is going to be the same as the standard MREs. It's actually kind of nice that they even, I don't know if they're all going to be like this, but it actually has the element above the fill line. So you don't have to put it above the fill line. And this does seem to take a little bit more water than the standard MRE heater. And just once you take that top off, you fold it down to about here. No, that didn't work. Tape ripped on that. Let's see if I can use it anyway. And then the other interesting thing is after the heater bag is sealed, place on flat surface, heating element side down, heat for 10 to 12 minutes. So that means we're not going to need a rock or something. But let me just get the water into the elements here, make sure that it activates, and we'll see how well this FR8 works. And I can hear it's starting up, so that's a good sign. And while we're waiting, we can also take a look at the, it comes with a heating sleeve, which apparently they don't recommend you using because the FR8 is quite a bit wider than the standard ones, and you have to like fold it up to get it to fit in there. But we'll take a look at the ingredients and the nutrition facts. And as you can hear, it's definitely working. Looks like this is going to be a good one. Let's go ahead and let this do its thing, and we'll check everything else out while it heats up. Here's the wheat snack bread from 2015. Seems like most of the components are from 2015. The beverage-based powder is actually from January 18th, 2016, so that one is actually quite new from when this one came out. And the rest of these things are from 2015, so that's not really bad at all. And the chunky peanut butter, we'll give this a good knead, get all the oils mixed up. And the 370 calorie trans fat free fudge brownie from 2014. There's little chocolate chips in there. Not sure what that is right there, but it actually smells a lot like the brownies from the MREs from the 1980s that had that really kind of artificial sort of chemical sort of smell to them. Assuming that has to do with the trans fat free aspect, but it still smells pretty good. And then we have the XMRE nut raisin mix, which has 350 calories. It's going to have raw sunflower seeds, roasted peanuts, dried black raisins, and almonds. And about the only other thing in here is sulfur dioxide. So this is going to be one of those ones, like the genuine ones, that does not have salt. That's something I definitely feel like these things could use, is a little bit of salt. But yeah, you definitely can tell that the first ingredient is sunflower seeds. There's a lot of those in there. And the lemon lime beverage-based powder. This is not the carbohydrate electrolyte one. It takes 12 ounces of water, which we have right here. Very familiar greenish yellow color. These do tend to be a little bit harder to mix than the carbohydrate electrolyte ones, and you probably can't really see it in there, but there is some cinnamon at the bottom, but eventually it'll mix in. And I'm just going to transfer that to a smaller glass. And then we have the coffee. This is the deep rich instant coffee, 100% coffee. Let's see how this looks. And it seems to look fine. Go ahead and add the sugar and creamer too. And that just leaves us with our chicken. This is actually still very hot, but it's been in there in a good 10 minutes. Still steam coming out. So this flameless ration heater isn't quite like the new ones that they introduced in 2018, which are kind of like a next generation heater, but it works very good. I'd say it works at least as good as a standard MRE flameless ration heater. So as I said, this is the chicken with garlic and herb sauce, and it's from the 51st day of 2014. Let's check this out. It'll be my first time trying this one. It smells very good. It smells very salty, and it seems like it's probably going to be quite flavorful. And I almost hate to say this, but to think of what it smells like, it kind of reminds me of the liquid that comes in the cans of Vienna sausage, which of course is very salty. And it seems like this is going to be that way too. But I'm sure it's also going to be good with the herbs and the garlic. Alright, so this definitely isn't a large entree. As I said, it's only 4 ounces. And it looks quite good. Definitely doesn't seem to be that over-processed kind of chicken that usually a lot of times we'll see in MREs. Looks like real chicken. We'll kind of shred it up. Let's try it out. Yeah, that's very good. I just can see it's kind of grilled too. There's little grill marks on it in some places before it was shredded apparently. I think I'd say I wouldn't mind seeing a little bit more of it in there. The 4 ounces is a pretty light size entree. It's good. The sauce is it's very rich. It is beyond the salty brine, I guess, that the Vienna sausages come in that I mentioned. I was kind of selling it short. I guess you're kind of tasting the herbs and the garlic a little bit. Overall, it's a nice rich sauce. The chicken is tender, and it does definitely seem to be real. Tastes like chicken. And there's nothing wrong with that, considering that's what it is. Yep, I think my only complaint about this is that there isn't more of it. It does not need the salt and pepper. Obviously, if you have hot sauce on you, this didn't come with hot sauce, but if you have that and you like your stuff spicy, you can add that, but it really doesn't need it. It's a simple but tasty dish. Everything else in here is stuff you can eat with your hands. Let's try the coffee while it's still hot. And that tastes fine. Obviously, it's on the sweet side because I added all the sugar and the creamer. But there doesn't seem to be anything wrong with it after being in storage for about 3 years. Try the wheat snack bread with the peanut butter. For some reason that's split right down the middle. I'll try the snack bread first. It's kind of surprising the variety of taste you can get out of wheat snack bread, depending on how fresh it is and what batch it came from, whether it's trans fat free or not. But this seems to be on the fresh side. It is wheat snack bread, but it's relatively pliable, not too dry. Of course, it is wheat snack bread, so it is dry, but let's try it with the peanut butter. Peanut butter is great. It's usually a safe bet that your peanut butter is going to be good in an MRE. It seems to last forever. So when it's pretty fresh like this one, you're kind of in for a treat. Combination of wheat snack bread and peanut butter, though, is always something that's going to make you thirsty. So we'll try the lemon lime beverage, which is your standard MRE fare. It's sort of like a cross between Gatorade and Kool-Aid. It's not quite like the taste of sports drinks like Gatorade or Powerade that you get with the carbohydrate electrolyte ones. But it's also not exactly the same as a Kool-Aid kind of thing. But pretty good. And we'll try to get a little bit of everything with the nut raisin mix. So we have the sunflower seeds, the raisins, the peanuts, and the almonds. And that's good like usual. It's kind of saved by the raisins because since it's not salted, it would actually be very bland, especially these sunflower seeds. I like sunflower seeds, but I really like them salted. I've never really understood why MREs don't put a little bit of salt in the nut raisin mix. Even if it was just the sunflower seeds that were salted, I think this would be a lot better. But the raisins give it just enough taste and sweetness to kind of save it. And obviously it's a quick and easy way to get a lot of calories and protein. As I said, this 2 ounces has 350 calories and 12 grams of protein. And while we're on the subject, the 4 ounces of chicken gives you 24 grams of protein. So this meal is actually pretty good as far as protein goes in addition to the calories. That just leaves us with our trans fat-free brownie, which actually it's pretty hard. It's a pretty firm brownie. Pretty dense. Yeah, and I do have to admit to not being a huge fan of the trans fat-free ones. I know it's healthier, and I'm all for that, but the chocolate taste isn't as chocolatey. It's more on the artificial side, almost a little bit chalky. But in the end, it's still a brownie, and chocolate brownie is a good thing, so that's a good thing. It's not terrible by any means, but just, in my opinion, not really as good as the old ones were. And so that was a look at an MRE from XMRE. This was menu number 1, chicken breast fillet, which was actually chicken with garlic and herb seasoning from 2016. Thank you for watching.